Hey, what's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with a very special video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's challenge we're going to be on hardcore mode. Yes, I've been putting it off, but we're back on hardcore mode and we're actually on 3.1 hardcore mode, which is actually a mode that I actually haven't tried out just yet because I only recently updated to 3.1, and hardcore mode has been definitely different. And our challenge today will be can I beat Pokemon Red 3.1 hardcore mode using only Safari Zone encounters. A very interesting challenge that I say so myself because it has a lot of encounters, so the team can be pretty unique, but also it's kind of challenging because I have to get Pokemon that's able to be encountered in the Safari Zone, or Pokemon that evolve into encounters in the Safari Zone. I allowed that part as well. In the first part before the Safari Zone, as you guys do know, the Safari Zone opens up after you beat the 5th gym only. So we have to get to the 5th gym with only encounters are connected towards a Safari encounters. So it's gonna be pretty difficult as well. Hardcore mode is not forgiving at all, so it's pretty difficult. And an included rule for each of my challenge video, of course, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want me to nickname after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in a comment and hopefully I'll pick yours. And since we're doing hardcore mode, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me that you guys show me all the support you guys can. And let's get into the challenge video itself. To begin off, obviously I'm gonna have a starter Pokemon, all that. I'm not gonna use it, obviously. I need to go out and catch a bunch of new Pokemon for my team. As you guys see on screen, all the Pokemon here are the Pokemon in the Safari Zone. Each of them are the encounters of them, and I have to find my way through the Safari Zone with only what's around me. So firstly, I'm gonna catch a Binacle. I'm not gonna show every single capture because it's gonna take a long time, but I'm gonna pick out the most important ones. I also get a Clamperl. It doesn't spawn in the Safari Zone, but there's a lot of Pokemon like Huntail and Gorbis that evolves from Clamperl, so I count it as obviously connected. Also Binacle, I believe Binacle is catchable there, so I think Binacle's fair. And even with a decent team, as you can see, I have 5 Pokemon and I still can't get past Brendan. It takes me a long time to beat down Brendan and get the XP share, let alone actually getting through the entire forest. As you see, it takes a long time, but once we get through the forest, we're able to go into Pewter City. And Pewter City, there is an egg merchant for us, and that'll allow us to encounter one of the best Pokemon, actually the MVP of this entire challenge video. Well, Wynaut. Now, Wynaut is going to obviously evolve into a Wobbuffet very early, and we already have a fully evolved Pokemon that's going to reflect damage back with its moves, which is very powerful. Also, it has an Encore, which is going to come in handy, surprisingly enough. From there, we're going to face off against Falkner, the very first mini-boss of the game, which is going to be a flying-type mini-boss. It's a required fight, and we actually beat him pretty easily on our first attempt. Can you guys believe that? First attempt Falkner on a hardcore mode. Normally, I don't really do any first attempts. From there, once we beat Falkner, we're able to go into the very first gym of the game. We're able to face off against Brock. If you guys never played hardcore mode before, hardcore mode also adds a very strict stipulation and a lot of advantages for the AIs. So for instance, Brock will also have infinite Sandstream, and his team is filled with 6 Pokemon, so it's incredibly difficult. And it gets more difficult down on. I'll explain each battle as they go on. But surprisingly, my Clamperl does pretty well as it's able to knock down 2 of his Pokemon very early on, and also do a bit of damage against the Lunatone. Before we have to switch out to my Corphish. Corphish is able to knock out the Lunatone, which is very nice for us, and also the Arcan as it lowers the speed. And first gym battle is looking pretty easy, as you can see. My Psyduck's able to eventually knock out the Hippopotas, and also the final Pokemon on his team will be a Sandshrew, which isn't too difficult as we one-shot it and we end up beating Brock very easily. However, it gets way more difficult. Since the level cap has jumped pretty high, since we're entering Mount Moon, we're able to get some newly evolved Pokemon as a Vespiquen is pretty nice on our team, and it's still pretty difficult even in this double battle fight, but we're able to beat down Mount Moon and clear through both mini bosses in there and then face off against the second gym leader. I do a lot of exploring. I explored Nugget Bridge and also got myself multiple eggs where I got myself a Heracross, so we could start the battle off against Misty using a lantern. I mean, I don't know why I brought up Heracross, but I got a lantern for this battle specifically. Unfortunately, it has Volt Absorb, so it's not too useful opposed to Water Absorb right here, but I'm able to start the battle off and Thunder Wave the Ludicolo, switch into my Vespiquen, which is going to dually beat into him. Luckily enough, it does get paralyzed and I'm able to knock out the Ludicolo for us as she sends out her Politoed, and I do a bit of chip damage to him until she actually knocks me out, which is fine. I go out to my Lantern to do a little more damage, paralyze the Toxicroak, which is actually very huge for us, and from there I can switch in between my Pokemon and catch the Starmie with my Wobbuffet and Mirror Coat it to knock him out. Unfortunately, the Toxicroak can come out next, which is very annoying, but I go out into my Golduck. Now that I established that once the Toxicroak is out, it's most likely going to switch out to his Pharaoh Seed in response to my Golduck, so I just have that in mind. From there, I also switch out to my Heracross to do a lot of chip damage against the Pharaoh Seed, sack it to the Mantine, which is fine. I'm able to knock him out with my Lantern. Ooh, it's getting crispy, it's getting very close, but I end up knocking him out, and then I switch out to my Wobbuffet against the Toxicroak, double into my Golduck, catch the Pharaoh Seed, knock out the Pharaoh Seed, and also the Toxicroak. As you can see, this 100 IQ Zen Headbutt to the face of Toxicroak to knock him out, and also knock out the Politoed, and we get our second gym badge of the game fairly easily. From there, obviously, we got to face off against a rival in the SSN, which isn't too difficult. We get the HM for cut. From there, we can face off against the third gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Lieutenant Surge. Surge is the electric type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Barbarico, which finally evolved, and I'm able to Rock Tomb into his Rotom. It's kind of weird item using a water type, but it's pretty useful as I'm able to Rock Tomb and a Cell Rock to knock out the Rotom, which is pretty nice. And from there, he's going to switch out into his Electrode, which from here, I'm going to sack my Barbarico and also sack my Crawdon as it's going to explode on my Heracross. So, sack 2 Pokemon, which isn't the worst thing, I guess. Maybe I should have switched out into, I don't know, my Ghost type. I do have a Ghost type at this point, but it's too far gone. From there, I switch out to my Hippowdon, which is going to beat down Ampharos, and it does a lot of damage to everything. So Hitmonlee's can stop him, but at this point, the battle should be over, as I'm able to Mirror Coat into the Raichu to knock him out. Okay, it doesn't knock him out, but my Lantern will knock him out. And then his final Pokemon will be a Hitmonlee, which he lowers his own defense. I switch out to my Heracross to knock him out and beat down the Heracross. As simple as that. From there, this battle right here, this battle is a drag. I tried so many attempts against this battle, and it does not work. I can't skip ahead into Celadon City just because of this battle. That's why you saw me actually face off against Lieutenant Surge for a long time. But once we get through this battle, we're able to face off against Erica. Erica is giving me the 4th gym leader in this game, and also the grass type gym leader. Super easy. I'm gonna start the battle off against her using my Heracross with close combat to knock off the Cradily in one shot. From there, she's gonna switch out into her Hawlucha, which is in a grass type. But I'm gonna switch out to my Vespiquen. Just sack it. Honestly, it's not getting. This is probably the last time you see Vespiquen because it doesn't get Destiny Bond. They actually nerfed the Destiny Bond strat where I have Destiny Bond and just takes down the biggest threat on their team. So unfortunately, I can't do that now. But I send out my Corviknight next. Corviknight is going to Drill Peck the Hawlucha, and it's gonna force him out somehow. And then I can switch out to my Wobbuffet to Mirror Coat, knock out the Hawlucha on accident, and also Encore into the Sceptile, since I obviously know it's gonna go for a Swords Dance, and then knock out the Sceptile somehow, which is amazing for us. So from there, she's gonna switch out to her Kartana, which I go out into my Yamega, which takes a hit pretty easily against the Kartana, and then Air Slash will one-shot it as he has no special defense at all. From there, the Toxicity comes out, and it's gonna go back and forth between the Toxicity and also the Slowbro. Eventually, I am able to knock her out and get the 4th gym badge of the game. It's just the last part of the battle that just completely gets messy. I don't know what happened here. She just keeps switching back and forth. But eventually we beat Erica, and then we're going to face off against Giovanni in his Team Rocket base, which isn't too hard. This is the only fight that's actually not hard at all. As you can see, I'm able to Encore the Gyarados into using Dragon Dance, and I'm knocking him out with my Lantern. And then from there, we're going to face off against a rival in Silphco, which, again, very close over there. Beat down Ariana and Archer in this double battle. I don't think it was too different from the regular fight, but I'm also able to beat down Giovanni, which took a long time, I'm not gonna lie. But once we beat down Giovanni, here comes the most painful battle in the game. This is the worst battle. Normally Sabrina's very easy in normal Radical Red. In hardcore mode, I hate Sabrina because she's so difficult. Not only does she have a Tapu Fini and also a Mega Camera up in Infinite Trick Room, they also have Misty Surge up, which I can't use any status move against. So the strategy for this is actually took me a long time. This is why this video actually was planned for last week Radical Red's video, but it's this week's now. I'm gonna start the battle off using my Golduck and also my Wobbuffet as the 2 Pokemon. And now I gotta restart until I'm actually able to knock out the camera up in one shot with a Scald. Take a Muddy Water from the Tapu Fini and Mirror Coat it until it actually lives. It actually can't one-shot the Tapu Fini, which is actually completely fine for me. It works better. As then I'm able to Aqua Jet, knock out the Tapu Fini, and from there I'm able to Mirror Coat into the Magearna, and I'm able to reflect back the Moonblast from the Magearna and knock out the Magearna. Get 3 Pokemon knocked out on Sabrina's side, and then sack both my Golduck and Wobbuffet to the Jellicent and also the Melmetal. Then go out to my Gyarados with Intimidate and also my Lantern with Water Absorb. I'm gonna go for a Crunch, which obviously they're gonna knock out my poor Gyarados. I'm able to both switch into the Jellicent, into my Barbarical, and switch out into my Lantern once again. From there, I'm able to cross chop into the Melmetal and then do even more damage to the Jellicent, and then switch out into my Corviknight next. From there, I'm able to Accel Rock into the Jellicent to knock him out, and then I get a Steel Wing defense boost on the Melmetal, which wasn't planned, but that actually helps me a lot as I'm able to Steel Wing into the Glacier as you can set up a Swords Dance, and I'm also able to cross chop into the Melmetal to knock him out as well. Now all I gotta do is Steel Wing once again to the Glacier and Accel Rock into the Melmetal to knock him out for sure. I'm able to survive his Ice Hammer with my Corviknight and Steel Wing and Accel Rock to knock out the Glacier as I'm able to beat Sabrina and finally continue on the challenge run. Oh my god, this challenge run was so annoying because of that. Sabrina is so difficult for no reason. This is the only time you ever see me happy facing off against Cycling Road. Like, Cycling Road brings me joy because I finally progressed through that part of the game. I gave up for a good couple days before coming back and facing off against Sabrina. From there, once we beat Sabrina, that's the 5th gym of the game, we finally have access into the Safari Zone and we're able to capture a bunch of Pokemon. We first get a Meltan and also a Kangaskhan. We also got a Hawlucha in here, which is very useful. From there, we have to go back and battle all the gym leaders again. So Fuchsia City's gym unlocks. So we're going to have to beat down Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge, and also Erica. And then finally, we could face off against Koga. And unsurprisingly though, Koga is not too difficult at all. So we're going to start the battle off against Koga using my Melmetal, which... Oh, alright, I'm using a legendary Pokemon, but it's actually not that good. Surprisingly enough, it's not that good. I'm able to Iron Head into the Tapu Lele to knock him out, and then the Toxicity comes on next. I'm able to switch out to my Hippowdon. You can see this type of synergy a lot. I like this synergy on my team a lot. But I'm going to switch out into my Hippowdon. Earthquake to knock out the Toxicity, which is pretty easy for us. Kyurem comes out. I'm going to sack, obviously, my Hippowdon. Go out into my Hawlucha. And surprise, surprise, Hawlucha has Psychic Seed, which I put on. And it's going to activate, it's going to outspeed the Kyurem. High Jump Kick one-shots the Kyurem with a crit. Incredible power. High Jump Kick also knocks down the Hoopa to very low HP. Unfortunately, there's infinite Tailwind and infinite Psychic Terrain. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to priority hit it. So I switch out to my Kangaskhan next. It's going to hit me with a Focus Blast. Luckily enough, I'm Mega Kangaskhan and I'm able to survive it. Bodos to knock him out. Crocodile comes on next. I decided to not sack my Kangaskhan and switch out to my Gyarados. Risk the Wicked Blow, obviously. But I'm able to Aqua Fang into him. Not knock him out, he's at 1 HP. But from there, I sack my Gyarados, go out to my Melmetal, and I'm able to Iron Head, survive an Earthquake pretty easily. And then his final Pokemon will be a Nidoking. I don't know why. He went for Earth Power, so I assume he's going to go for a Sludge Wave. He went for a Poison Jab against me as I go for a Miracle, but my Wobbuffet can survive 2 of them, obviously. So counter will knock out the Nidoking as I'm able to beat down Koga, and we get our 6th gym badge. From there, we can finally go back and get the Focus Sash from Chuck, which is going to be a huge item later on. Also, we got a Choice Scarf from Price, which took a long time. This Price fight is no joke. One underrated member of my team was definitely Corviknight. I use Corviknight a lot, I just realized. But we also beat down Jasmine, get the Choice Band, which will come in handy later. And also from there, we're going to face off against Blaine. Blaine's going to be the 7th gym leader in the game. And we're going to start the battle off against him using my Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan's going to be Mega and also is able to Bodos. I'm not sure why I didn't Fake Out, but whatever. Bodos into a Sucker Punch would knock him out. And then he just switches out into his Primal Growlithe, which, okay, wow. He's going to Solar Beam, knock out my Kangaskhan, which is fun. I then go out into my Gyarados, which is going to lower his attack stat, take a Stone Edge, and then Bodos, really hoping he's going to miss a Stone Edge. He did not. So he's going to knock out my Gyarados. I go to my Hippowdon. 2 Bodos will make my Hippowdon faster than him. Earthquake to knock him out. He sends out his Venusaur next. Go to my Wobbuffet, take a Solar Beam, and I'm going to double into my Hippowdon, catching the Ho-Oh, which didn't think I was going to catch the Ho-Oh. I thought I was going to catch something else, but I survive a Solar Beam from Ho-Oh because it's actually garbage special attack. So I'm able to Rock Slide, knock out the Ho-Oh, but oh wait, it has Revival something. Some kind of revival move. Phoenix Down as an ability, and it just revive itself. It's like Clash Royale out here, and so I have to go out to my Barbarical, Accel Rock to knock out the Ho-Oh, which is good for us at least. Venusaur comes out. I'm gonna take the Solar Beam from my Hawlucha, and then look at this 10 million IQ play. It goes for a Growth as I go for a Roost. Now I'm at 4 HP and my Focus Sash is intact. I allow it to hit me, so it activates my Focus Sash, activates my Unburden. Now I'm faster than all of its on its team, so I'm able to knock out the Venusaur, and then the Charizard takes my high jump kick pretty easily. Yeesh. I go out to my Barbarical next. A Cell Rock does not kill him, but I survive an Earthquake and also a Cell Rock twice to knock him out, and then a Cell Rock once against Darmanitan to knock out him. So we end up beating Blaine. Not the right way, but we end up beating Blaine. And from there, we're going to face off against Archer and Ariana. Archer, easy fight. Ariana, not too easy fight, as you can see. I barely beat down the Buzzwole. The Buzzwole was the strongest member that I was fearing from, but also the Werewolf was doing a lot of damage too. Even at 1 HP, it almost just clutched up against me. But lucky enough, Wobbuffet is MVP, of course. So from there, we're also going to face off against Giovanni. And the biggest suggestion I have is they did not ban Thunder Wave, which I swear they did. But they didn't ban Thunder Wave for us, so I'm able to Thunder Wave his entire team. And then at the end, we're able to beat down Giovanni, with the help of Lance, of course. And then the 8th gym in the game is actually the easiest gym to face off against, surprisingly. We're able to face off against Claire, and we're going to start the battle off against Claire using my Gyarados. I'm going for a Thunder Wave. I'm really hoping I'm going for Iron Head, Flinches, and Paralyze to beat down the Shuckle, so I don't have to deal with Sticky Web. Of course, it sets up Sticky Webs anyways, and I'm just too lazy to restart, so I end up knocking down the Shuckle pretty low, and then he's going to switch out to his Giratina, which I'm able to Thunder Wave, so it's not a bad trade. 2 Pokemon that are Thunder Wave, pretty much out of commission. From there, I'm going to switch out into my Barbarical, which is going to do a lot of damage against the Giratina with Stone Edge, even take a Dragon Hammer. And from there, I can switch out into my Gyarados since I want to keep my Barbarical's priority. Iron Head would knock out the Giratina pretty easily. She then switches out into her Eternatus, which I'm going for a Miracle. It does not work, but I do counter the Necrozma Dragon Hammer, as I'm able to counter knock out the Necrozma, which is kind of funny. She then switches out to her Duraludon, and I'm like, I'm at high HP, I'm Calm Nature, I'm pretty sure I survive a Steel Beam, and I do. Miracle the Duraludon, and 2 of her Pokemon just get knocked down pretty easily. From there, I'm going to switch out to my Hippowdon against her Eternatus to Earthquake. Does not knock him out, but I'm able to go out into my Kangaskhan to Fake Out and Sucker Punch to knock him out super easily. Her next Pokemon will be a Magearna. I go for a Bodos. Activate Weakness Pods, which is kind of scary, but she didn't do anything at all. I thought I outspeed, but I survived an Overspear, so that works. I'm able to Bodos twice again, Sucker Punch to knock her out, and then Outrage against the Shuckle, and we end up beating Claire super easily. Stupid fight, a very easy fight. From there, we're going to face off against a rival. Both are rivals. We're able to beat down them pretty easily. As you see, Kangaskhan clutched up against Gary, and also Wobbuffet clutched up against Brendan. And yeah, from there, we can go through Victory Road, which isn't too different. It's pretty easy still. As we're able to clear through Victory Road and then head into the Pokemon League. Now, constructing our team, I actually like the synergy. As much of a surprise it is, I actually really like the synergy of my team. I didn't even add Melmetal to my final team, which is shocking, right? I think I like my team synergy right now, so I kept my team like this, and we're going to head into the Elite Four. We're going to face off against the first Elite Four member, which is going to be Lorelei. She uses her water team against me, obviously. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Hawlucha and Kangaskhan. Now, I need to get this correct, or I gotta reset. Kangaskhan took too much damage, so I'm gonna reset. What I want to do is fake out or avoid the damage from the Kingdra, because it used Hydro Pump, and I'm able to Acrobatics into the Ludicolo. It does a lot of damage, and then from there I can go for a Sucker Punch and do a lot of damage with a High Jump Kick to the Kingdra. Just keep up the momentum as I'm able to knock out a Pokemon like every other turn. As you can see, I'm able to knock out the Kingdra, do a lot of damage to Genesect. My Focus Sash is activated, so I'm able to go for a High Jump Kick against the Genesect to knock him out. Outrage from my Kangaskhan does a lot of damage to the Palkia. It leaves him at 1 HP. I go out into my Barbarical, which is going to Cell Rock into the Palkia to knock him out. She knocks out my Kangaskhan, which is completely fine. I switch out to my Gyarados, and Gyarados is able to Thunder Wave, which isn't the best play. Maybe I should have went for an Aqua Fang and like a Cell Rock against him, but it's fine. I'm able to knock him out in the following turn. Obviously, I go out to my Wobbuffet, which is able to just reflect back the damage into the Swampert and just eventually knock out the Swampert. And we end up beating Lorelei very easily. She's actually very easily, surprisingly. From there, Bruno takes a long time to figure out. She's super annoying. I don't know why. I hate him. He has infinite Misty Terrain. You can't ever status his Pokemon. There's infinite legendaries on his team. He thinks he's the main character or something, but we're gonna start the battle off against Bruno using my Hawlucha to just Acrobatics, knock out the Infernape. It's very annoying, but you know what? We gotta do it. From there, he's gonna switch out to Zacian. I go to my Gyarados to lower his attack stat, and then double out into my Hippowdon to Earthquake, do a lot of damage. Surprisingly survive a Behemoth Bash and then Earthquake to knock him out. He then switched out to his Necrozma, which I sack my Hippowdon because it's not going to be too useful. From there, I go out into my Wobbuffet to Encore the suspecting Dragon Dance, which he doesn't do. He goes out to his Lucario, which I'm able to counter him and knock out the Lucario. And the Zamazenta, for some reason, goes for a Behemoth Bash too, and I counter him, so that works out. His Necrozma comes out, he's going to Dragon Dance me, and I can Encore him as I go out into my Kangaskhan to Bulldoze into his Zeraora. And from there, he's just too slow, as I'm able to Bulldoze again, knock out his Zeraora, Bulldoze into the Necrozma, activate his weakness policy, but he's just too slow at this point. He has minus like 3 speed or something, as everyone else can knock out the Necrozma for me, and it's more of a team fight at the end, as I'm able to beat down Bruno and move on to the hardest Elite Four member in the game. We gotta face off against Agatha next. Agatha is the Ghost type, Psychic type more like Elite Four member. Her team is very strong, and her Calyrex, her 1 Union form Calyrex, very powerful. It one-shots everything on my team, regardless. Doesn't need a setup at all. One-shots my entire team. So what we have to do is we're going to start the battle off against Agatha using my Hawlucha. Now Hawlucha is going to be the main key, the main difference maker. So the High Jump Kick into the Krookodile, let her set up Stealth Rocks, and then switch out into her Calyrex, which I'm going to use Acrobatics even though I have an item on, so it's 55 power. She can set up twice against me with Nasty Plot, knock me down to my Focus Sash, which allows me to double the power of Acrobatics. Even though I have Intimidate on, I'm able to do a lot of damage and then eventually outspeed her with the Unburden boost, and I'm able to knock out the Calyrex, so the biggest threat is gone. Huge. She then switched out to her Mewtwo, which is going to be Mewtwo X, the fighting type. I'm able to Acrobatics into that thing as well, knock down to half HP, go out to my Gyarados to Thunder Wave into him, and then from there, I don't want a Mega, I want to threaten the Mega and then Dragon Tail into him to switch into his Zarude, which I'm able to Thunder Wave into him as well, and then go for an Ice Fang, go for a Flinch. He does not get Flinch, which is fine. From there, I'm going to switch out to my Wobbuffet, which is the only counter I have for the Zarude. I'm able to counter into him to knock him out at the very least. She switches out to her Krookodile, which I'm going to let my Wobbuffet go down because I can't do anything. She has Psychic Terrain up. I go out into my Kangaskhan, which isn't Mega, ironically. I'm able to Dizzy Punch into the Yveltal, get it confused, and hope it hits itself as I go out into my Choice Scarf Barbarical. It doesn't hit itself, which, of course, I go for a Stone Edge and knocks out the Yveltal, which is nice. Victini comes out, is getting Expanding Force me and don't go for a Celebrate, as I go out to my Hippowdon Earthquake to one-shot it through the Z Celebrate, which is huge. Also survive an Expanding Force from the Mewtwo, Earthquake to knock out the Mewtwo, and then her final Pokemon will be a Krookodile, which my Kangaskhan survives against and knocks out. And amazingly enough, Hippowdon saves the day, knocking out 2 big Pokemon. Wow, that's just insane. That was like the luckiest run. It took me like so long to figure out how to beat Agatha. I had to switch out so many items, as you can see. All the items got mixed up. Like Kangaskhan doesn't even have like, I don't know what Kangaskhan has. It must have a Muscle Band or something. From there, we're gonna face off against Lance next, and Lance is such a baby easy like fight. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Mega Kangaskhan back again. I'm going to fake out into the Deoxys, only let him set up Stealth Rocks, as Dizzy Punch will knock him out pretty easily. He then switches out to his Arceus. I go for a Dizzy Punch again, he ends up being confused. Earthquake again against him, and then he hits himself in confusion. Earthquake to knock him out. He switches out to his Rayquaza next. He's getting Dragon Ascent into me. He's going to lower his defense because of that, as I survive because I'm Mega Kangaskhan. Dizzy Punch into him, get a crit as well. Now he's on low HP. Sucker Punch to knock out the Ray, and I knocked out 3 of his Pokemon with only my Kangaskhan, and I'm going to do some more damage. Earthquake to get the Melmetal to about half HP. Switch out into my Hippowdon, which will Earthquake and outspeed him, surprisingly, to knock him out. And then his next Pokemon will be a Dragonite. I go out to my Gyarados. I'm going to Thunder Wave into him, and then Dragon Tail, as he gets paralyzed, force him out into his Dialga, and that will allow me to get a free Paralyze on him as well. He's going to Roar Time me out, and then from there, I'm just going to play it slowly. I'm going to Bulldoze into the Dialga, low sweep into the Dialga. I've tried out a lot of things in every single battle, but I also have Scorching Sand. You can see how desperate I got, but this battle is super easy, as I'm able to Earthquake down this entire Dialga with my Hippowdon. Hippowdon's really good, surprisingly. You guys be surprised how that Pokemon out of everything is really good. From there, Dragonite comes out. It can't set up on me at all. I go for a, well, I sack everything apparently, but I go for my Wobbuffet. It's gonna obviously go for a Dragon Dance, as I'm able to Encore it, go out to my Barbarical, a Star Rock twice to knock out the Dragonite, as I'm able to beat down Lance. And now we head into the champion fight, the final battle of the game, and it took me like 3 attempts. It's not that difficult at all. So we're gonna start the battle off against his Primal Groudon with my Hippowdon. I'm gonna Bodos into him, and he's gonna switch out into his Arceus Ground. Okay, from there I'm gonna go for a bunch of Bodos and then get him down to low HP. I know he's gonna go for a Judgment, so I decided to go out to my Gyarados. He goes for an Ice Beam instead, but I survive it. From all those Bodos, I know I'm gonna outspeed him with my Gyarados, so I go for an Ice Fang. Lets me knock out his Arceus. He then switches out to his Ho-Oh, which I'm hoping he does not have Phoenix down. That would be terrible. But I go for my Kangaskhan next. I'm able to Fake Out into him, Daisy Punch into him, as I'm able to survive a Sacred Fire and pray. Lucky enough, it does not have Phoenix down. Sucker Punch to knock out the Ho-Oh, and then his next Pokemon will be a Xerneas. He's gonna Moonblast and knock out my Mega Kangaskhan, but that allowed me to go out into my Wobbuffet and just Encore him into his Geomancy, which now he can't threaten for the rest of the game because he just wastes his Power Herb. And from there, he goes for his Eternatus, which is gonna be the big form, the final form in Sword and Shield. I'm able to Miracle into him and survive a hit from him and end up knocking out the Eternatus and survive a Moonblast from the Xerneas as well. Knock out the Xerneas. Oh my god, that's incredible. Now he's down to his last 2 Pokemon. He's gonna Rock Tomb my Wobbuffet, which will knock out my Wobbuffet. That's fine. I go out into my Hippowdon. I let him get a hit off of me, which I actually don't have a choice, but from there, I know his last Pokemon will be a Houndoom. A Mega Houndoom is gonna outspeed me, so hoping he goes for a Solar Beams to activate my Citrus Berry. He goes for a Dark Hole. I don't go to sleep, and I'm able to actually low sweep into him, lower his speed, and do a lot of damage to him, and then go out to my Barbarico, which has Tough Claws, and a Solar Rock will knock out the Mega Houndoom as I'm able to beat down our rival and clear through Radical Red 3.1 Hardcore mode using only Safari encounters, which is incredible if you think about that. It's such a relieving process because we did it. It took me over a week to get the right combination to get the motivation back to do it, but we end up doing it. Wobbuffet, obviously the MVP of the game. I didn't even use Melmetal, so you can't even use like, oh, I use legendaries in this run. No, I didn't even use Melmetal. Melmetal was actually insignificant in this entire game, which is surprising. I thought it was gonna be pretty useful. I hate it. I don't like using it at all, but honestly, that was pretty fun. Obviously, Mega Kangaskhan very good. Gyarados was pretty like, it's Gyarados. It's always giving me good Intimidate and Thunder Wave threat. Super huge for my entire team. Hawlucha, being able to utilize Hawlucha in so many different scenarios with the different terrains going on with the seeds and the Focus Sash. Oh my god, it's so much fun to play Radical Red because you could figure out a new strategy each time. Obviously want to do more hardcore runs in the future because it actually brought a lot of enjoyment just to figure out. I was so hyped up in the Elite Four. You guys should see my like live reaction. I was so excited when I beat the Elite Four. After beating Acta, I was like, yes, I could do this. This is so doable because I was about to give up and just restart the Elite Four run with a new team with some new composition because Acta was taking over like 40 minutes, which is incredible. But that will be the end of my rambling. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name has been Alpha. Hope you all have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.